Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show all about dreams and their meanings. I'm your host Michael Sheridan and it's my mission to set the record straight about dreams. Our show is live on Mondays at noon Pacific time on YouTube. Please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button on YouTube. Audio only is also available on Apple Podcasts and Google Play. You can send your dreams to the show at dream-analysis.com. You're getting a $500 value if your dream is picked and you're getting valuable insights into the world of dreams regardless. Each show, it pays off for some lucky winners. Here's another case in point. On my last show, I analysed a dream from Lakeba, where she witnessed a spirit rise up out of a body at death. Her dream revealed she can see spirits, is psychic and clairvoyant. She wrote after the show, "Wow, I want to thank you for your dream interpretation. It was definitely what I needed to hear and what I already knew deep down about my psychic mediumship ability. I do have clairaudient and clairvoyant ability, but it comes on its own. I can't control it. You've inspired me to develop it. Thank you." Well, today's theme is children and parenting, and that affects everyone. Even if you don't have children, you were a children once yourself, and that's what dreams mostly focus on, your childhood issues with your parents. That can be a very depressing subject. Let's take a detailed look. Aha, see what I did there? You're thinking it's depressing, so we should avoid that subject, aren't you? That's what most of us do. We deliberately avoid our childhood because we don't want to disturb the ghosts that lie there. Many people hold the view, I lived it once, why would I want to relive it? And that kind of makes sense, except that it doesn't. Not at all, actually. And here's why. When you live through a traumatic childhood, it completely shapes the person you are and who you become. That's unavoidable. It colours your view of the world until death or therapy, whichever comes first. So the irony is, by choosing to avoid your past, you condemn yourself to being affected by it every day. Every choice you make, the partner you choose, the partner you avoid, the career you pursue and how you pursue it, the career you avoid, your attitude towards your boss, your ability to be open with others, your decision about whether to have children, your ability to be yourself. Everything is filtered through the lens crafted by your childhood. And that's how it works. There are no exceptions to that rule. How we cling to national identity is a good example. It's a deep-rooted aspect of our nature that was shaped in childhood, and we fight wars over that one. Nothing is permanent though. With the right therapy, our issues can be put in check. Until then, however, our unchecked issues live and thrive in our subconscious, and our subconscious influences all our decisions. That's something dreams reveal clearly. We are both Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Hyde is crafty and careful to not reveal his influence, but dreams show the origin of the Hyde aspect of our nature, and what we need to do to heal them so his influence is eliminated. We look at life as purely a physical experience, and all the yardsticks by which we measure life and trauma share that mold. That's our biggest fallacy. This physical life is a spiritual experience designed to increase awareness by removing blocks we hold in the spirit world. These blocks existed before we undertook this physical life, before we were born. Now here's the kicker. The traumas we experience in childhood were chosen by us in advance to allow us to transfer into our physical life the issues that restrict us in the spirit world. We come here to clear them. This truth turns many people off. They look at their childhood and say, they would never have chosen that. Show me your dreams and I'll tell you not only why they say you chose it, but how they say to heal it too. A lot of people look at other people's lives and claim that as evidence it could not be true. Look at all the starving people in Africa. That makes no sense. Again, I say, you're looking at life from purely a physical perspective, and that's what makes no sense. Stop looking at someone else's shoes. Fill your own. Live and focus on your life. Make your life make sense. Be worthy of the planning and effort you put into it to get this far. Deal with your childhood issues and heal the myopic vision that created. Free yourself to make untethered choices. Just as traumas allow us to transfer our issues to the physical world, therapies that heal our childhood free us of those issues in the spirit world. And that's the whole point. I'm going to make use of a common childhood conditioning. If you believe that your soul is immortal and continues forever after your physical body dies, then every second you spend on freeing your soul of any limiting condition will pay dividends for eternity. The dreams in today's show, and indeed most of our shows, point to childhood issues that need healing. Your higher self, the creator of your dreams, deems that to be important. You've heard me many times suggesting cutting the ties that bind with a parent. It's a therapy I offer that works well with dreams to eliminate the negative influence of a parent. I like it because it is also something you can do on your own, especially if you've been helped to do it once before. It uses the symbolic language of dreams to instruct the subconscious to let go of the past and heal. I'll post a link that gives details on how to do this therapy under this video. It's free and it works. However, just like with dream analysis, you will get far more out of the process by working with me or a therapist skilled in the process and dream work. I mentioned in the last show that my first online course in a year begins in September 16th. It's called The Dream Tracker's Guide to Discovering Your Life Purpose. I like to keep titles short like that. I promise more details in this show. Here's a quick summary. It consists of 12 training modules that lead you from the basics of dream interpretation right through to advanced topics. There are over 60 videos in all, including case studies, and you'll get lifetime access to the course. You also get access to my Dream Mastermind community where fellow students and past students help each other with their dreams. But you also get me analysing specific dreams you've had, like I do on this show, but in more detail and one-to-one. Your dreams, just you and me. By the end of the course, you will know your life purpose and your spiritual gifts. On top of that, there are 7 live Q&A group calls where you can ask me anything. The course runs over 8 weeks. You'll receive 2 training modules per week, plus a live Q&A call. Everything is recorded, so you can watch over and over again with your lifetime access. Oh yeah, and it comes with a 100% money back guarantee. For over 25 years, I've been changing people's lives by interpreting their dreams and telling them why they are here. I help people overcome their blocks and step into alignment with their purpose. I put them in touch with their gifts and explain how and why to use them. I've watched people listen to their dreams and regain their health. I've seen years of depression abruptly end. I've seen chronic migraines disappear. I've seen people become happy again. Heck, I've even seen people get married, all from following the lessons on my course and listening to my interpretations on the Dream Tracker's Guide to Discovering Your Life Purpose. I'd love to tell you what your dreams are really saying. The first symbol today is Camel, and as usual, was prompted by a viewer. It's such an unusual symbol, I had to do it. It's interesting to note that the dreamer is 5 months pregnant. A spirit on the way here fits with our theme today. With that in mind, is it obvious what the hump on the camel represents? Madison asks, what is the meaning of a camel in dreams? I was worried about it peeing in the bed and it said it was cold. I figured it probably had something to do with me having a full bladder. That's pretty much all the time now. But maybe there's an alternate meaning. Well, camels are called ship of the desert, which would make them about persisting with a spiritual approach. So I'd say your pregnancy is what triggered the dream, having to go to the toilet all the time, but the choice of camel is yours. So putting it together, it would be along the lines of, what's the right approach to take for my little one, the little one being symbolized by the bump? A camel answers the question by saying, you've got the skill to navigate an approach that will get you to where you need to go, along with your bump. Camels, after all, are the experts in that terrain. You will realize from earlier that we choose our parents because of how they will influence in our childhood. In addition to giving us physical life, they're instrumental in helping us transfer specific traits and abilities from the spirit realm to the earth plane. Lucas wrote in with a question, and to answer it, I want to first cover 2 common themes in dream. The first is flying. And we got to get the right symbol up there. Apologies here. Bear with us, caller. Okay. Since you cannot physically fly, we can rule that out straight away. Sorry, it would be great. Instead, it symbolizes that you have a strong intellect which you can use to mentally rise above your problems. Flying intends to get you to see your issues from a higher perspective and thus diminish them. And it works. You almost always feel exhilarated upon waking from a flying dream. This is precisely because your problems have become smaller through your dream. It reminds me of the quote, "Worrying doesn't take away tomorrow's troubles, it takes away today's peace." This dream alleviates your worry and restores your peace. The strong intellect symbolized by a flying dream is a very practical ability. If you've had flying dreams, you're most likely aware you have it. When you've had enough of a particular problem, you can step back and consciously decide to see the bigger picture. It only takes about 20 seconds, but it doesn't happen on its own. You have to mentally do it. Flying also symbolizes projecting your mind, and this means 3 abilities are part of your nature. The first is that you have the ability to project your mind onto others. You can use this to good and bad effect. It is very useful in marketing, sales and teaching, but be careful not to think badly of others, as your negative thoughts can have a negative effect on them. Whether you believe in karma or not, you will bring it on yourself for doing this. The second is the ability to hypnotize others. Hypnosis is achieved by the practitioner projecting their mind onto their subject. This is regardless of the other tools the hypnotist may use or believe is doing the hypnosis for them. It is their mental projection onto the mind of the subject that makes it work. You can derive from this that hypnosis will come more naturally to people who fly in their dreams than people who don't. The third ability is absent healing, which is healing from afar. This is what Jesus performs on the centurion's servant in the Bible. You can see how they are all related. Each one involves projecting the mind. In this one, the healer thinks their subject well. Their thoughts pattern of healing overrides the subject's thought pattern for illness. Instead of thinking yourself to better health, you're doing it for someone else. The next symbol I want to cover is being chased. Dreams use a very simple construct to indicate past, present and future. Anything behind you is from your past. Anything immediately in front of you is in your present. And anything up ahead or around the corner is in your future. Dreams use other timeline techniques, but this is enough to tell us what the chaser, because they're behind you, is symbolic of something from your past. You're trying to get away tells us you want to avoid whatever the chaser represents. While in the world of your dream, you know exactly what it is, which is why you know you want to avoid it. Who is chasing you? To fully understand the dream in our waking state, it is important to understand the symbolism of who is chasing you. Most of the time, you will know what or who it represents. For those other times, this will help. One or more men chasing you can represent a number of things. The most common issue being with the person himself, or dad. Someone with similar traits, name or title as the man chasing you, or lastly, it can represent an idea, because men can represent logic in a dream. One or more women chasing you highlights an issue with the person herself or mom, or someone with similar traits, name or title as the woman chasing you, or it can represent an emotion, including a trauma. If a man and a woman are chasing you, it indicates the issue is with both parents or with the man and woman themselves, or someone with similar traits to the man and woman that are in your dream. How many are chasing you? The count will often indicate the age that the issue happened at. For example, 2 women chasing you can indicate issues picked up from mom around the age 2. It can also represent 2 months or 2 days, but that is less common. But the common purpose of this dream is to alert you that you are carrying an influence from the past that has affected you recently. Knowing this puts you in a position to do something to clear it. Sometimes the dream may just want you to know the issue you're having today is actually due to something from before. For example, you may project an issue from a past relationship into your current one. This could cause you to hold back until your partner proves himself or herself. That's not a good thing to do. In essence, you're attempting to make your partner pay for your previous partner's behavior. In reality, however, you're the one still paying a price, as you're the one holding yourself back. Now let's have a look at Lucas's question. He writes, "Hey Michael, I just started watching your YouTube videos and got very interested very quick. I never even really knew that dream interpretations were a real thing until I listened to you. Anyways, I was wondering if you could possibly tell me what any of my dreams mean. The only problem is when I dream, I can only remember little fragments of it when I wake up. In my last dream, for some reason, I was back at my parents' house and was angry with them. So I ran down the road and hid. Next, I turned around and saw my dad and started running, but all of a sudden got the urge to do backflips, which I do enjoy doing in the physical body too. When I did the backflips, I went extremely high in the air and fell back down slowly. That seems to happen in my dreams a lot, where I just feel kind of weightless when I jump. Back to the point though, when I landed I don't remember anything else except sitting on a couch at my friend Eric's house. So if you can make anything of this, it would be much appreciated. Okay, well let's sort this issue out here. We have something visible that shouldn't be visible. So Lucas's dream has 2 of the 10 most common themes in dreams, being chased and flying. When you put them together, it tells us that Lucas has unresolved issues with his parents. That does not mean he doesn't get along with them. We bury issues so we can get along. We will see that in another dream later in the show. As infants, we blame ourselves for the faults our parents find with us. The infant's thinking is, if I was perfect, they would love me as I am, so it must be my fault. As we grow into toddlerhood, it's a term, look it up, we react to the pain and sadness by building a wall around our heart to protect ourselves. Nobody is allowed past the wall. After all, the last time you let someone in, you got hurt. Why would you do that again? Anyone who approaches the wall is met with anger to push them back. Of course, this doesn't happen to everyone, but it does happen to half of us, and it happened to Lucas. His dream sets the timeline to when he was younger. And I want to get another slide up here now that isn't. So his dream sets the timeline to when he was younger by placing him back at his parents' house. From what age did you live there, Lucas? That's the age the dream is focusing on. The anger you feel in the dream is good. Ah, surprised to hear me say that. Dreams allow us to express emotions we could not express at the time. Expressing the anger in the dream is healing, just as expressing it in a therapeutic session is. There is likely more of it under the surface. Ideally, in the dream, you'd have faced your parents and dressed them down for what you endured. That doesn't really happen in dreams. Instead, we do what you did. We run and hide when faced with the issue. But the very fact that dad is chasing you means that something today is being impacted by the suppressed issues. Now you begin to fly, and let me move this on. Now you begin to fly, again, that's very therapeutic in a dream. It is you mentally, albeit with a little difficulty, rising above the problems created by your dad. Slowly falling back to the ground is rather than full-on flying is common in dreams. It shows that the weight of the issues eventually pulls you down. You cannot fully escape it, but it does tell us something about you. You're clever. You're very comfortable operating from your intellect. That too is typical of people who close off in early childhood. In summary, your dream says you do backflips to avoid your childhood issues. That makes you normal, Lucas, but at some point, you do need to cut the ties with your father and mother. You can only do one at a time, however. So let's move on. Lucas's dream leads me into a question about cutting the ties from Alison. So let's get that lined up here. Alison asks, has anyone, while cutting the ties with mom, processed extreme anger? I need some success stories and to hear how long it lasted. I'm not a sane person right now, and I don't know how long I'm going to be able to be this way. I currently want to destroy my ex and the engaged mother of 2 he's sneaking around holiday inns with. Well, Alison, it's all part of the process. I've seen it countless times. So much so, in fact, that if somebody doesn't go through it or feelings of depression, they're probably not doing it right. It typically lasts about 1.5 weeks, but is not felt the entire time. Focusing on the root cause of the anger while doing the visualization, along with expressing the anger in a healthy way involving very physical exercise, is what's essential. Otherwise, you bottle the anger back up and gain very little from the whole experience. The anger you're feeling has been locked within your psyche and body from way back. This suppressed anger is always there, colouring your view of life and people. It affects every decision you make. The point of this process is to purge it so that you are the free spirit you were before you picked it up. It's the whole reason for coming here. Using childhood traumas, you transfer into the earth plane an issue you already have. You live with the effects of that for some time and then work on yourself to clear it, thus clearing it from your spirit. Most people never do the step you're taking. They carry it to the grave, letting it taint their entire life and keeping it in the spirit world. Feeling this and expressing it, not at your ex-partner or anyone else, is you doing something successful. Push through it. Focusing on mom while doing the process is how to do it. But realize you had this anger before you came here. Your mom just helped you carry it through to here. That being said, don't go letting her off the hook. Your ex is helping you by showing you that you still carry it. Of course, while here, you really get into the character. And that's the point. You'd rather run over him with your car than think anything nice about him. Again, you're not meant to think nice things about him. That would be suppressing it again. When you eliminate this, your thoughts and emotions will be so much clearer for it. The lightness of your cleared energy will allow you to hear your higher self. That in itself will prove your life journey is successful. And that, particularly that last part, hearing your higher self, applies to Alison. I have another question, although this one is probably one I'm going to skip. Yeah. So I think we're going to have a look at a dream when we get to it. This dream is called Attacked by Elephants. Sarah writes, I've just completed a weekend of healer training, which was exhausting, and I had this strange and slightly scary dream. I don't know who I'm with, are floating along a body of water, I think it's a lake, and enjoying how picturesque everything is. There is a red crab floating ahead of me, and there are two massive elephants in the water ahead. I take a picture of the crab ahead of me with the elephants. One of the elephants actually waves, but I realize that the elephants are dangerous and they start coming towards us. We make our way to the sandy beach, and while I'm still in the water, I see that whatever was carrying the crab, which I regarded as my baby brother, had now been attacked by the elephants and was missing on the beach. Well, here's the analysis. The body of water and the beach make this a spiritual dimension dream. The elephants have to do with putting on the appearance of having a thick skin when in fact you're really very sensitive to an issue. Given there are two elephants, we'll go with channeling. Speaking of channeling, I channeled that the thick skin comes from issues with your parents. We also get that a bit from your brother being in the dream and being part of who's attacked. Anyway, you need to deal with this thick skin because the elephants are in your path and come towards you. That's what the dream wants you to do. We know you're afraid to do that because you fear the elephants in the dream. In other words, you'd rather pretend you've got a thick skin than show that you're sensitive. That's pretend to yourself, by the way. The connection with channeling is that you must acknowledge and accept your sensitivity as part of who you are in order to be able to use it. It's hard to get something positive out of something you view negatively, or to put another way, it is hard to raise your vibration to make a connection while at the same time thinking negatively about the aspect of you that allows you to receive the communication, your sensitivity. Having followed my work, the dreamer feared the crab alongside the camera represented cancer of the uterus. Indeed, she recently had a cancer scare, which turned out to be fibroids instead. It's important to realize that your dreams will show what's going on. Very recently, Sarah thought she was facing cancer. Given her fibroid diagnosis, I asked if the crab was facing away from her, as that is the best way to see it in a dream. She confirmed it was. She was floating behind it, and it was not getting any closer. Well, the red crab and the camera are indeed reproduction, but the focus is on the chakra rather than the physical reproduction. Something you did over the weekend in your healing retreat has helped ground you. That's done through the base chakra. So when you think about your reproductive system, you need to think positively rather than associating it with cancer, as recent events had you do. I haven't walked in your shoes, so they are just words to me, but it is what the dream is saying. Whatever it takes, you need to view your gender positively. Accept that you are good looking, for instance. If thinking that brings up an uncomfortable feeling, then explore the uncomfortable feeling and get to where it is no longer uncomfortable. Accept your sensitivity around it. The crab missing is good, but just like in the dream, don't go looking for it. It is common to be protective of cancer symbols in dreams, so just ignore that for now. The beach brings the focus now to your spiritual approach, so this is a decision time. You must decide your approach and follow it. Accept your sensitivity and accept that the fears and issues you have around it are unwarranted. One elephant waved at you after all, and they killed or got rid of the crab. Despite your fears, channeling is your friend and will help you in life, and that's indicated by the 2 elephants being in the water. Thank you for the dream. Now here's a question from the same dreamer. She says, I have a question about race in dreams. I dreamed last night about protecting a young black girl from a white woman who was my mother, I think. The girl was around 9. The woman was so nice, but I felt I couldn't let her near the little girl because she had once been terrible to her or hurt her somehow. I didn't understand what she had done wrong, but I protected the girl nonetheless. In the end, a black woman who I assumed was the girl's mother said everything was fine. There was no need to protect her. So I stopped. All right, because of how the women were dressed, very old-fashioned, I wondered if this was a reference to a past life experience. And this is what Sarah also writes. But it's also very reminiscent of how I would characterize my relationship with my mother around that age, that she wasn't always nice to me and I didn't understand why. My mother is a lovely woman in waking life, but we did not bond until I was in my 20s. Did you hear what you just said? So my question is, why was race so prominent in the dream? Is it telling me that I see things too much in black and white? I've cut the ties with both parents with help and guidance, but I wonder if I need to do so again with my mom. Okay, now it's telling you that you have negative issues, which is indicated by the black, that you picked up from your mom around the age 9, that still affect you today. They cause you to be protective of yourself out of fear, again indicated by the black, out of fear of something negative happening, that is really, even if it is unlikely. In my book and on the radio show, I always changed the dream to say a woman or a girl wearing a black coat rather than a black woman. I've had people write to me over the years to tell me to change the meaning of black in my dictionary because my definition is racist. It's not. The colour black in dreams has nothing to do with skin colour and its meaning cannot be changed to suit somebody's sensitivity. In my dictionary, I also point out that white alone is a negative colour. So, just like in this dream, the woman being white means she is judgmentally immature and has a controlling should-be attitude towards things. Given Sarah's direct question, I wanted to let this dream slip through the net unfiltered. The colour of people's skin in dreams does not matter, unless you feel you must point it out, because it was important in the dream. So back to the dream and the question. It's not a past life reference. It's saying that your mother is old-fashioned. Based on her religion, I'd say she's 2,000 years old-fashioned. This dream is guidance and healing, and you accepted the guidance because you agreed to stop protecting the girl. You accepted the healing if you felt that was the right thing to do. Some dreams are mini healing sessions. This one attempts to clear you of something. Unfortunately, we're like, hold on a second, buddy. It took me a long time to pick up all this bad stuff and these bad behaviors. I'm not sure you fully appreciate my situation. You haven't been living in my shoes. Of course, your higher self created the feet that are in your shoes, and the rest of you. We're fools to ever argue, but it doesn't stop us trying. So in this situation, the dreamer is wondering if she's making progress or needs to cut the ties again. So I asked her if the child was older than the ones who normally appear in her dreams. She said yes. Usually the children are aged between 2 and 6, but this girl was 9. Well, that's the dreams world's way of showing progress. You've dealt with the issues picked up at a younger age. The older the people in your dreams, the less childish stuff you have left. Protecting yourself out of anticipated fear is probably one you can deal with without therapy. 9 is old enough to have clearer memories of it. You will know when you're holding back because of fear. When you spot yourself doing that, try to do it despite the fear. If you can't, then you need to cut the ties again. Most people can just spot the behavior and do whatever it is anyway, despite the fear, especially when their dreams tell them it's the right thing to do. Before we finish, I want to point out what is probably obvious in the dream. We have 2 moms in the dream. One represents your mom as she was, cold, hurtful, and inducing fear. The other is the opposite, warm, caring, and telling you it's okay to let this go. The second mom in the dream is a classic healing agent. With the issue clearly established and in focus, the healing agent comes in with the exact traits required to negate or heal the issue. All right, and now we're going to queue up another piece. We were trying to set up so much earlier that we had a difficulty with that. And you're seeing the effects of it. But it also proves it's a live show. All right, I'll take it from here. Thank you. So, all right, that's our show for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please hit the like button on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. On the show, I don't go into the finer details of why some symbols mean what I say or how particular abilities work. I cover that in my book and to a far greater degree on my course, The Dream Tracker's Guide to Discovering Your Life Purpose. My next online course starts on September 16th. I'll include links to both under this video on YouTube. I don't run them that often. The next one will be my first course in 12 months. In the meantime, realize the value in having a dream correctly interpreted and send your dreams to me via the show at dream-analysis.com. You're getting a $500 value if your dream is picked, and you're getting valuable insights into the world of dreams regardless. I'm back on August 21st, setting the record straight on dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan, and I'll leave you with this quote from Norman Vincent Peale. Change your thoughts and you change your world. Thank you for watching.